welcome to the show. It's really
Thank you.
cool. It's a pleasure to have you here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Perfect, perfect. So let's begin. So starting with the interview, tell me, like, how this journey through acting started.
Yeah, so my journey into acting started when I was pretty young. I started acting when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, doing a lot of theater. And then as I got older, slowly kept like kind of dipping my toes into film and television acting and decided to take it on professionally. So I guess it's just been kind of like a lifelong development
Mm,
into the acting world.
okay.
Yeah.
And like, was it something else you wanted to be back when you were little, or was it always towards the arts?
Well, no, when I was very young, there was a moment where I wanted to be a veterinarian.
That's cool.
But then I quickly realized that you had to maybe deal with like needles and, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I quickly realized it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but apart from that, I've always been very interested in the arts. Yeah.
That's amazing. I had a friend who he was a huge Doctor House for a fan, but a huge one. So when we started college, he went to study, medicine because he wanted to become a doctor. But of course, when he saw and realized that it was not like the show, he quit immediately. It was like, you know what? No, this is not for me.
Hey, it happens to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, right. And focusing a little bit here more on your acting career. Tell me like how you prepare a character, like what is your approach?
Yeah, so my approach, I always start with the script. I kind of call it doing the detective work. So I read through the script with kind of as much of a blank slate as possible to try to gather as much information as I can about the character based on the script. And then after that, filling in any holes that I might not know from, the short amount of sides that I've been provided with. Um, and then after that, I like to do a lot of work with my imagination because I find that that's where I connect the most to the empathetic side of character work. So, imagining my character in real life situations, what their personality is like, the little quirks that they have, what are they like at the grocery store, the basic stuff, but that really makes them human at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And like,
Yeah.
what character has been like the toughest, or like the one that got you stressed the most because there was something about it that wasn't connecting?
Um, I don't know if I can exactly pinpoint what the character was, but I know there's been a few of those.
Mm,
And usually those are the characters that are maybe furthest away from me, or the
okay.
ones that don't have life experiences that I maybe connect with as much. So if there's, maybe the character's gone through a lot of heavy trauma or, things like homelessness or drug abuse, and that's something that I've personally never experienced. So then it
Mm-hmm.
becomes more challenging to kind of approach that with still some empathy and connecting to the character and not judging them, which is probably the hardest part because I feel like as humans, we often are quick to judge. And I always try my best to not judge the characters that I'm embodying.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm, doing them justice and, they all have their reasons for their set behaviors. But yeah, when there's a little bit more of like a heavy pass to the characters, sometimes I find it takes a little bit more work for me to really kind of open myself up to that character and allow
Yeah.
myself to go to those places.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I bet that it can take you to a very vulnerable place, right? The fact that you are about to play something that you never experienced in your life, but you need to make it believable, right? So I think
Mhm.
that's when the tough part begins, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like one in particular, if a character does not necessarily align with your personal morals and
Mm,
values, for example, like if your character is racist and is openly racist,
Mm-hmm.
that can be really challenging. If it contrasts your personal morals, that can be really difficult to then embody that. How do I do this without all those kind of egotistical challenges that come with, I don't want to be judged, I don't want to be perceived as this, that there's a
Yeah,
lot of, internal conflict that comes up with things like that.
absolutely. And like yeah, like moving up here, tell me like what has been the funniest or worst audition you've ever had?
Funniest or worst audition? Uh, well, I've had a few, I'm sure. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
I think the one that stands out to me the most, I had an audition for a commercial that I did a little while ago, and it was all improv based. So there was no script. You just kind of came
Okay.
in and they kind of threw something at you and you just went with it. And I remember the director had asked me to pretend to be listening to one of my favorite songs. And then he's like, yeah, start singing along to it. And
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but I was so nervous that I completely blanked on the lyrics to my favorite song and just kept repeating these two words over and over again because I just couldn't think of the
Okay.
song lyrics. And it was really embarrassing. And, I got the polite, okay, thank you very much. And went home and I just didn't even know what happened. I blacked out for that. That was,
Mm.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, I don't have any experience at all, like zero. Probably the only acting role I ever had was in a play back in high school. I only had one line, and I screw it, of course. But anyway, so what advice could you give to someone who doesn't know anything about acting but wants to start this journey?
Um, yeah, so my advice would be, I mean, maybe similar to what a lot of other people have said, but it would be to start taking acting classes.
Mm,
I really think that that will build a really solid foundation for anybody who would be interested in pursuing acting as a career. I think acting class also allows you to build a lot of good stamina,
mm-hmm.
passion for the work itself, because there is a lot that goes into acting and
Yeah,
preparing for a role. And sometimes that can be a little bit misconceived or misunderstood, the lack of understanding of what goes behind
absolutely.
working on a role. So an acting class will let you see all of that and get a taste of what it's like to work on a character, to memorize those lines, to work with a scene partner, which can be challenging for a lot of people. I mean, for myself included, when I first started, there's a lot of breaking down walls and things that I had no idea was a thing for
Mm-hmm.
being an actor. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely classes, highly recommend. They just build a lot of character. And I think anybody who takes a class will leave that class knowing whether or not they want to pursue this as a career.
There you go. Okay, okay. Now, let's say that Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, they get in contact with you and they tell you, we need to make this film in which you basically ghost. All of the characters you have played at the moment, they're gonna gather to celebrate your birthday. Tell me what would be the name of that film?
What an interesting question. I think that the name of that film would maybe be something like, I don't know, like Girls Gang or like The Click,
Mm,
something like that. I think I've played a lot of roles so far, like that have been like the clicky high school girl, the popular mean girl, that kind of thing.
okay.
So maybe something like that.
Okay. And what genre would it be? Would it be like comedy, dark comedy, dramedy, drama, only drama?
Definitely a comedy.
Hmm.
Maybe a little bit of a dark comedy. But I
Okay.
think that if they all were in the same room together, that would be an interesting energy to
Mm,
deal with.
okay. Now,
Yeah.
what about if you had to describe your whole career, but on a drink? Now, you can choose one or create your own.
Oh, that's so hard. I think maybe I would say something like a margarita. Also because that's my favorite drink, but there are
Mm,
other reasons too. I feel like a margarita
okay.
is really adaptable, you know? Like you can create so many different types of margaritas. There's a spicy margarita, the mango margarita, the the classic on the rocks, frozen,
Mm,
all that stuff. So it can be kind of adapted into all these different little things, but it's one drink. It's still the same drink. Yeah. Maybe that.
okay. And what would it be called?
The uh spicy margarita.
Okay. Okay. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Now, like my last question here is like, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that we basically just want to quit. You know, we get into our minds the idea that we're not worth it, that we suck, that we're wasting our time. Like, how you manage to get out of those thoughts and continuing creating and on this journey that you have been creating for so many years now.
Um, that's a really good question. I don't know if I have the perfect answer. I
Mm,
think that that's still something that I struggle with continuously, and I think that's something that I'll struggle with for my whole life.
yeah,
I think that
yeah, of
we'll
course.
constantly go through these ebbs and flows of feeling really inspired, but then other times you feel kind of beat down, and when things get slow, it's hard to keep going. I think that what really motivates me is the passion or the reason behind why I chose to do what I do.
Mm,
Having your why is really important to keep close to your heart so that you know what to tap back into to keep going.
yeah.
For me in the creative field, when I first started in acting, I only did acting. So that's all I did. I went out to audition and I didn't want to do anything else. I was very stubborn. But as I have grown older now, I started tapping into other creative elements of the film industry, and I started filmmaking and producing my own content. And now I work under multiple small production companies as a producer. I help out to make films. Sometimes I act in them, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But having that open mind to those other facets of this huge creative industry that I'm in has really helped me to kind of stay motivated and keep going and keep exploring, because there's not just one thing that you can do in this specific career path. There are so many things. And being able to work behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera has just shown me a lot about what goes on behind making a film, and not only on the acting side of things, because that's where I lived for so long, but now I really understand the work that it takes to create this whole ensemble. It's a really big team that's coming together to make these films, and of course the actor plays an important part, but it's like it's such a small part.
Mm,
Like there's so much going on before the filming process, after the filming process, that we never even see or talk about. So opening myself up to that has really helped me feel creatively fulfilled and motivated to keep going, and to not get so down on myself, because understanding the production side of this work also helps me see the other side when things do get slow for me as an actor.
mm,
Me
mhm.
knowing what that is on the other side, I can understand better and kind of rationalize and talk myself off the ledge if I'm like, I want to quit.
Yeah, of
Which
course.
hopefully that never happens. But yeah, I think that's an important part of it.
I love it. I mean, at the end, what can I say, Valerie? I mean, your career is really cool, and the thing that I love the most about your career is the fact that you have been, like growing. You know, besides acting, to create your own content, to move here to here. I mean, it's really cool, and also it's a proof that dreams can come true. You know, but of course, there's this
Yeah.
huge amount of work that you need to do, but you're doing it, and I think that is also inspirational enough for everybody to be like, if she can do it, I can do it too. So that's really
Yeah.
cool, and I'm super sure
Thank you so much.
that at some point everybody's gonna know about what you do, and who knows, maybe our next conversation will be where I can put this award now on my wall because it's full now. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe. You
Who
never
knows,
know where
right?
life will take you. You know, every path is unique to every individual.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also want to thank those who watch this. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this either on Spotify or Apple Podcast, make sure to go follow Valerie like right now. I mean, the video is over, so go follow her. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Valerie. She's amazing. And
Woohoo!
and again, have an incredible rest of the week. And I'll see you in the next one.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.